Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call this special meeting of council to order at 1:35 p.m. on June 29th, 2026. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this afternoon, I acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for the rich history, and we are extremely grateful for the many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, we have no correspondence, so we'll move to the business for which the meeting was called, and it's in regards to the EV lease agreement. And we will go to the CAO report. Luke, did you want anything you wanted to say?
Sure. So, yeah, thank you. At the June council meeting, this report, for the most part, there's been some additions, was presented to council along with bylaw 2026-25. At that meeting, we discussed, but ultimately deferred the passing of the bylaw. So, I guess the conversation is still open. There is a little bit more added to this report. A few little changes that I can speak to in the bylaw, and the council accepts the bylaw, and I'll get to you. There's a little option in the bylaw, or not at all. We can vote against it, in which case we'll still have direction, staff will have direction on where to go from this. It would be my preference as CAO to transfer this vehicle to the Eganville District Seniors and Whitewater Seniors Home Support. When we spoke about this at the June meeting, the agreement was for a 2-year term. It's now been reduced to a 1-year term. There's been further discussion with the senior center, with insurance. And if council has noted, we can, there's a highlight in the agreement. So the way it's worded right now is we can transfer the vehicle to the seniors. I think that's, like I said, that's staff's preference here. It also works well for the senior center. I did talk to Kayla about a splitting of service, and we haven't found an answer for shuttling that vehicle back and forth. The senior center has confirmed that they don't have the staff resources to do that, and I'm suggesting that would be a challenge for here as well. If we just dedicated to them for the 1 year, then we would keep the first line in the bylaw. If we wanted to do a sharing of this vehicle based on some type of a schedule, then we would have the other line in the bylaw. I can flash that up on the screen. The way this works is if council selects one of those, then by the time we get to the bylaw passing portion of the agenda, Laura will update the agreement accordingly, and it'll be ready to go for that passing. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, and that's in the report here. I think that's all. A lot of this stuff comes down to insurance implications with the sharing of the vehicle. But I think that's it. And myself and the mayor did have a conversation with here at the senior center about it at one point. And I noted that in here. It's kind of surprising. She indicated last week there was 23 requests for drives, and the demand is increasing for restrictions. So that's my report.
Thank you. So I have a motion that regarding the EV lease agreement, and the motion is that council accepts the report as information pertaining to bylaw 2026-25. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Buckles. Questions and comments? Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld and Councillor Buckles.
Okay, so like there's two scenarios, right? The one scenario is the senior center would have like the whole thing for a year, right? And is the other one that they would have it like the majority of the time, but our citizens could somehow book it or not?
Well,
We're just not sure how we get it from one place to the other. So.
yeah, that's one of the challenges, but yes, like that, that's still open and those two lines clarify, facilitate that.
See, I'd still like the option for our people to be able to use it, but I mean, when you talked about like them requesting transportation for doctor's appointments, that very well could be some of our township residents wanting a car or somebody to take them, which is the same thing, the reason why we would want it in the first place, right? I mean, maybe our residents are using it indirectly because we're using their drivers to take our residents to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, well, indirectly or directly, I definitely think this will be used for residents of NAW Township. It serves a public transportation needs.
Yeah.
If we are going another direction, I really would like to have a conversation with council about how we are gonna, the logistics are challenging. Right now, the office is lean, we're staff wise, but I don't think in a bad way. We're focusing on our duties but we don't have a lot of slack otherwise,
See, my concern a long time ago was, if let's just say the car was at Golden Lake, but I live here or I live in Rankin, I'm still gonna have to get somebody to take me from my place of residence to go get it in Golden Lake, right? You know, and when I say directly and indirectly, I guess directly would mean I would be driving, indirectly would mean somebody from senior center is driving me, right? And like maybe it ends up that it stays at the senior's place, and instead of me getting a drive to Golden Lake to pick up the car, they're giving me a drive to even see the car. Either way, to me, the car in our municipality can't be in a central place that somebody can just walk to go get. Somebody's going to drive, right? So I mean, if I have to drive to Golden Lake or Edenville, I guess in the end, I would just like our residents, if the need be, that they could borrow it if they needed to borrow it. But I mean, I'm okay with wherever it is. I do see the need that we are using it, our residents are indirectly benefiting from that.
Yeah.
They need vehicle, no matter where it is, or who has it.
And they will be provided the transportation services via the senior center. And if I could back up to, the senior center is funded by the province, specifically linked to our township to provide services to seniors in North Algona Wilberforce Township. Right. They are an agency of this municipality.
Councillor Buckles.
I think my biggest concern are when this was brought to council and when we fill out the grant and when we explain it to the public that the function was going to be that it would be available to all ratepayers of the municipality on a full-time basis. The concern I have with even the part-time assignment there is that reduces those days that are available. And I think, because I know when we discussed it and we voted on it, that's what I voted for. I didn't vote for assigning a vehicle to another organization as well provided that they are, well deserved that they are. I don't think that that's on us to provide a vehicle to an organization. It's granted serving some of our ratepayers, but located outside of our municipality. So that's why I have the concern, if not having a regular availability to ratepayers in our township. Because I think that's what we were originally envisioning when we tried to discuss it.
But if it was in Eganville and there'd be certain days where they could pick it up and use it, does that not help you at all? Or you just want it?
If there's a process in place for it, and we're still going to have to be tracking and scheduling it in the office to know when the seniors have it and when they don't, and that's going to have to be somehow publicly accessible to the office staff to know whether or not it's available. I'd be interested. I like the fact that it's 1 year instead of 2, because for a year now we can evaluate how many requests have we had that either A, used it, or B, had to be denied because it was already assigned elsewhere. If staff can assure that that process would be in place and transparent, then I could possibly support the shared usage, but not the dedicated always with the organization.
So would you see it being shared, but the primary place it would be in Edenville?
Oh yeah, it's gonna have to do with the charter. So
Yeah, I mean, no, like personally, I wouldn't have a problem with that, but people are gonna have to drive anyway. If I had to get a ride to go use it because I wanna go to Ottawa, somebody's gonna have to drive me somewhere in this township. Eagleville to me is not like a hardship to be able to drive and get there.
But my first choice would be to have it within the township,
Mhm.
but again, when we with the different distances being dealing. I would probably be okay if it was available, again, in Wilshire Valley. The issue then becomes is for staff's logistics to manage the vehicle, it's not
That's right.
local.
Yeah, this just provides, it does provide a solution, you know, in my mind, and I'll give you like just, there's a number, we've talked about, there's a number of scenarios, I'm concerned that's if we had it for public use, here. The difference being at the senior center that's on a list of volunteers, they're known to the agency and they're gonna take everything with some level of trust back, bring it back. Just for example, we all staff with busy lives, and so if somebody borrows it here on a Friday afternoon, say they bring it back to 4, and they say, oh, we're running late, we won't be there till 6. You know, do we stay back and somebody on a Friday, like, you know, there's just like, that's a minor thing, but it can be a lot of things. And I just don't, you know, that's why just from an operational, this certainly checks a lot of boxes for me, and at the same time provides transportation to a sector of the population that could certainly use it. And maybe even to a higher frequency level.
So one thing I would just like to add, just from our discussions with Caleb, there's a growing need for more transportation at the Echo Center. In fact, they're turning away some of the clients that are requesting transportation because they don't have enough vehicle, and sometimes the vehicle, even though it might be booked for a particular individual, again, they never know, especially if they have to travel to Ottawa, will the vehicle be back in time for the next appointment, et cetera. The other advantage is if the booking is done through the Echo Center, if it's somebody who doesn't drive or doesn't have their own transportation, they will arrange to actually have them a driver as well. So as you're saying, Janet, that, or Councillor Schoenfeld, you're saying that if somebody has to drive to get to the vehicle this way, if they need a ride and there's a volunteer driver, the volunteer driver can actually go and pick them up.
Mhm.
And do that transportation for them, and then the vehicle does get returned back to the Echo Center. And because it's only for a year, in my opinion, and the Echo Center already collects all the data on the usage and supports for each individual municipality. So they would be able to, and they have the staff component currently, at least to do it for a year. That way we would then be able to evaluate after a year. Do we want to leave it with them? Do we want to bring it back entirely to our municipality? Do we want to look at a share going forward? And if we were going to share going forward, I think we could also share some of the admin costs if it is built into the agreement. And right now, the other thing is if we solely, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Luke, if we turn it over to the Echo Center for the 1 year, their insurance covers it 100%. If we use it for a shared agreement between public here and seniors there, then we have to pick up that additional insurance cost of, I think it's $9,000.
So does BB use their card just at the senior center? What do they?
They leave theirs at their municipal office. Theirs is available through the booking app, either for the public or the larger public, or if it's not booked by the public and the senior center does need a vehicle, then it's available for them as well.
Do you know if the public is using it a lot?
They are having some public usage. What they're really seeing is that the charging station is being used
Okay.
quite a bit. I don't know about the actual bookings. I'd have to check with an app to see how many bookings there are with the general public. But certainly the charger is being used. It's yes, Councillor.
See, that's the process that I would like to see. If they were taking the lead on sorting out the app and the process with that, it shouldn't be a big deal to incorporate it here as well. I'm still in favor of being available to the public. Because again, that's what we agreed to when we got into this. And giving it dedicated for a year, I don't think I can support that.
And there is a third municipality in this Whitewater, and they are going to the senior center. This one's in the.
See, I really like the idea of the senior center using it for a number of the statistics that were up on this report. You know, yeah, it would just be nice, like even if one day was, people could book it, like our township residents could book it if we had to. And I know it's an education and communication thing, but at least they would know and they could book their dentist appointment around, you know, the availability if the day was only on a Thursday. And keeping statistics for a year might prove either one way or another.
I see, I would the other way, I'd rather see bookings being done first,
Right.
and then the center can have it on the days and it's involved.
The bad thing is with that is that then I could see they're thinking they could use it, but then all of a sudden somebody swoops in and gets the car, so then how are they gonna deliver the meals on wheels and stuff like that?
So we put it in a 7-day advance notice.
Yeah. And
Well, there's very few people I think are gonna have an appointment come up on less than 7 days notice, unless they've got a much better doctor's appointment system than I got.
some people just aren't organized though.
Okay. Again, if we could do something like that, that there was, the township residents have first crack at it. And again, I think the BB system with the online bookings would work the best. I'm just uncomfortable taking a vehicle that was purchased for the use of the greater municipality and giving it specifically to one organization. I don't feel that that's what we had approved, but I don't think that's achievable.
See, I just feel it's still potentially, the benefit is being felt with our residents, so I'm okay, I know it's an indirect benefit, but to me, they're still benefiting. As opposed to, I know what you're saying is that you'd just like them to be able to get the car and go drive. You know, the other thing too is I wanna see that car utilized, I don't wanna see it sitting. And I'm afraid sometimes if we just have it here, it could be sitting a lot of the time, because the Eagle Senior Center might say, this is just too much of a pain in the butt to figure out how to go get it, when I can get it, and who's gonna get it, and all that other stuff.
And that's my concern as well, is really how much usage will it actually get here, where we can build awareness through the Echo Center by the usage it will generate there, and the fact that it's almost like free marketing and advertising. I don't know if we would get the demand here, but if we do it through the Echo Center for a year, we would have an opportunity. If we think it might be more used if it's here, we could still move forward after a year.
But how do we know? If it's dedicated to them 7 days a week or 5 days a week, how are we gonna know who wants it?
The general,
There's no data coming in
No.
from our side.
If I may, on my understanding is this senior center is gonna book it through the software as well, so it's all gonna be recorded and transcribed.
Okay, but if we go with the option that it's in their possession, is it still gonna be available to be booked by our ratepayers
yes,
on other days?
yes,
Sorry, that's if we, so there's insurance implications, yeah, depending on which way.
So that would be option 1. Correct?
Yeah, so right now, like this, the first rule, I mean, the bylaw will establish the direction and we don't need to dial, I don't think we want to dial in a schedule for usage in a bylaw. We can figure out the schedule after that, but that I'd like to know, because then I'll link it up with our insurance or not. So again, if we have any type of sharing, if the seniors crash it, if the public crowd or whoever, it's all comes back to us. Otherwise, it's just on them, but we can, and I just, the shuttling, when we did discuss that last time, it was a concern because, so right now we're down to sharing the.
And I was talking to the BB resident before I came, because I told him I was going to a meeting about the car. And I said, but BB has a car. He's like, BB has a car? So like, there's that whole like communication that I would have to say, a number of ratepayers and all those 3 municipalities don't know about the car. There was a kickoff, and then it kind of, some people said, oh, I see BB had their little blurb in the paper, where's our blurb? That's true, but it's like, the communication is not great. And so like to me, I would rather be in favor, it stays at the Echo Center. We pay a part of the insurance, we use that booking app, and if people know they can book it on a certain day, then they can do it. And we can keep track of it, and I'm hoping that if somebody says, yeah, I hate being on a Monday, I really wish, I'll have an example. You know, most of my appointments are on Wednesday, then that's something maybe we look at the following year, like as long as the people say why it's not working for them or why it is working.
Yeah, go ahead.
As long as the ability is there for residents of our township to be able to book it at least 2 days a week, preferably 3, but at least 2. As long as that ability is there, then I'm okay with it being housed there the majority of the times. Maybe that's something that staff then negotiates with them. Okay, well, we know we've got 2 renters that want it in the township. We need you to bring it back Monday when it's done, but they don't bring it back every Monday.
Yeah.
So that's something that can be done internally
Yeah.
between the CAOs.
But sometimes I think too, though, it's a lot, that's shuffling, because I mean, like, do you have employee availability to be able to do that? That could be a pain in the butt. And plus too, then it complicates things. Personally, if I know I want to use it and I have to go to Eganville, then I'm going to Eganville. I don't think any place in our municipality is probably, well, I guess it depends where you work, but I mean, if you're coming from Bolton Lake to Eganville, what would that be? 20 minutes? Right? And if I'm coming from Rankin to Eganville, it's probably 20 minutes. You know, so to me, like a 20-minute isn't like a big hardship for me. And at least it's always in one spot. And I think that's important too. Just for the person to know where it is all the time, and we're not guessing. Right? And what if we say, we bring it here, and then somebody's not here to receive it, or the driver isn't there, and then they're trying to scramble instead of doing maybe more important work for driving.
Councilor Buckley.
So yeah, so from my perspective, option 1 would be the one to go with. Again, so that it is available to our ratepayers to book on, and then staff needs to incorporate that into the processes for booking and tracking that. But as far as giving it to them full time, I wouldn't be in favor of that.
And I think, I mean, once it's rocking and rolling, we can have dedicated days, and if it's not being used and not being booked, like, you know, that should be booked at least a day in advance, that would all be there.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then the Echo Center would know, they could be able to.
If it's not 2 hours in advance or whatever, yeah, then if they want combinations, they can.
Maybe it's even 5 days in advance, right? Because then Kayla at the Echo Center can like say, okay, I know I've got 2 cars available this week.
The thing I like about this one too is it also gives us the ability, now we get data on both options. So if we find that it's not being used, then maybe at the end of that year, then maybe to get the use out of it, then maybe we do a sign after that.
Yeah.
But I think to me, this one is the most flexible, it gives us the most data to get a better decision down the road.
My understanding is the way the booking app works is that when somebody goes in and books the vehicle, then that's blocked out. So it's no longer available for
Right.
anybody else to come in and book.
Mhm.
And so if the Echo Center has their days where they do their Meals on Wheels, that then that whole day gets blocked out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Simple.
And so then very well, if it's communicated well, it might not be on a dedicated Norfolk holiday day, but they could still take it on another day because it's available on that.
If no one else has booked it, absolutely, I'm fine with that, yeah. I just want to make sure that it's available the way that we said it's going to be available.
The other real, like you say again, the other real advantage there is to having Echo Center and have the car there is if somebody needs a driver, they can also set them up with having a volunteer driver to get the vehicle and get their appointment done and.
Yeah.
the
And
driver-
sometimes that might even be better, just like you said, remember it was like, instead of me getting a driver to drive me there to pick it up, now that driver can just come and pick me up and take me there. Right.
And I did ask Taylor as well, I said, Taylor, would it be just the Echo Center registered seniors who would have access to it? She says, no. She says, as long as they register as a senior, they don't have to be a member of the Echo Center. It's just that their volunteer drivers aren't available to drive somebody who's not a senior.
Oh, gotcha.
They have to be a senior.
Mhm. What is a senior? Do they have a thing? Like, I know some places you're 55 is a senior and some
That's a
places.
good question.
You're 60.
For Taylor, if it's unknown.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
I know I'm a member of Echo, so, and I'm on 57 for another 2 days. So, yeah, so it's probably 55.
It
for
could
that.
be 55, yeah.
And then that becomes another issue now, is if it's only for them, then what do other age groups do? It's not available to them.
They could still go book it.
They could still book it.
They just won't get a
They
driver.
can't
Oh,
involve-
for just for the drive, okay,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
So they just can't provide a driver for.
that's right,
Okay.
yes.
But if, I just, yeah, okay.
But remember the one time too, and other places have used it too, when there's an organization that needs to get a kid to CHIO. Right? They could still use that vehicle, even
Yes.
if the CHIO person is not a senior, but they could get a driver to use that car if they don't have a CHIO.
Through.
Through the rental, not through the seniors,
No,
but
but through our, through, yeah,
That's
through our
right.
system, yeah, and that's the kind of thing that I'm looking at, is someone that needs it for that doesn't fall out of the seniors banner,
Mhm.
right? So again, you have someone needs to take a child to CHIO, or even an adult that has to get out and test it.
right, I think there's like wiggle in there, and I think there's creative bookings, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
And I think my understanding is, and that's okay, I said that there would be that availability if that's the route we want to go. It's just that when it comes to having a driver, yes, you have to be a senior. But I guess you could bring your own driver, but then they would have to be vetted through
They have to be vetted or run through their own insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
To the board.
But I do like the idea of just a year, and then, we revisit it, or the next council revisits, and says, like, it's not a terrible hardship, I don't think.
And again, that's council may decide to go one way or the other, and that's fine. Like I said, to me, this is what we agreed to, was that it would be available to the public, and I don't have an issue with seniors having access as well. I just don't think that we can exclude one from the other. I think we need to have the two options.
And then we would also have to make a decision, or staff would have to bring back, we'd have to take it from reserves, I guess, to pay for the insurance, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's some expenses, so far this year with the charger installation here, charger installation at Golden Lake.
But we did put money away in our budget for that, right? We budgeted, what, so there's
We
shut
should
down.
have thought for insurance at that, because the seniors thing wasn't an option when we discussed it,
Yeah,
so it should have been budgeted for.
either way, we would- right. I thought we did have money in our budget though for an EV vehicle.
Oh, no, we do, it's $25,000 for this year, and I just have to, we've had, I think, I presume the EV installation, that's the
Right.
expense for this year, but we're only paying 20% of the cost, so. But long story short, yes, there would be a give or take a $10,000 insurance policy to allow us for the public fee.
And I guess the other question I have, I think you did put it in your report, we still don't have our charger connected in Golden Lake, correct?
That's great.
Do we have any idea when it will be connected?
I think everything's done and we're waiting, there's a little background there, but, I'm not certain.
And my understanding is the delay is that the fire department was having some work done as well, which has delayed our connection of the EV charger.
That's what my information.
Yeah, so that cabling has been run from all through, so the trenching is in, the cable is there. The meter base, or so the connection base still needs to go on the fire hall, but everything at that end should be good to go.
And was that actually included in the fire department budget, this work?
I'm not sure, I think it was. I think it was one of the plans that the chief had for this year. But I don't recall specifically if it was.
Yeah, because my concern is, I think we need to look at, and I don't know if our communication policy covers it, Luke, or our HR policy, but there has to be better coordination when it's something that's affecting two different departments. Because we're losing out on potential revenue by not having that charger available for people to use, that we can start collecting revenue.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of this project about when we meet the with this last week. We're missing the summer use of our EV charger.
They should still be able to look at that charter. The fire department probably shouldn't affect that. They should be able to look at that at any time.
Hydro one is going to be,
So they want to do them both at once.
I believe, so.
That's okay, that's my opinion.
As well, I like it that did the install, like, I guess the install was completed already at the end of March, but I wrote, I guess maybe there were two work permits for the same pole. I don't know how that works, but I mean,
Yeah, 'cause this is peak church season.
yeah,
There was a lineup today in where I drove through, right through up there, Flow Township, it was quite a few.
Hmm. They do have to do a little bit more though, it looks like putting gravel at the base or something. Just when I was at the ATV run, it kind of looked like there's a low spot for the charger.
Some landscaping around, but I don't know if that's part of their contract or if, which is just gonna be that.
With some piles in.
yeah, I think that's mostly public works, because the install just involved the electrician, so. But again, Luke, do you think it's something we need to look at as far as communication or coordination or a process where at least everybody knows what's going to happen going forward?
Well, it's good to, this, I wouldn't say this, this, at the level of coordination when you find out information second hand, so.
Do we need to revise our policy? Or do we have a policy, I guess, is,
Well, doing capital work on facilities is good to communicate through to see how it may affect others, but that's something we can talk about.
I think that would be a good discussion for the CAM department heads to have. But I know there were some other challenges in that area as well. So.
I agree, communication, the key to success.
okay, so, do we have a mover and a seconder for accepting the, information on the lease agreement report? And then the bylaw will come up later, so.
And just under the discussion of the report, do we like one of the goals more than the other? So that's. Or that we. So the option is one of the goals, or we defeat the bylaw, and we just have a full public, which I don't think we're going, I think we're. So it's,
I'm happy with the shared use, so the top option.
I didn't know if I should, so coming into this meeting, we discussed it, I didn't know if I needed two bylaws on the agenda, and one could be with each of those terms, I didn't know if, I thought this would be the way, but it takes discussion, so,
I agree with Councilor Buckle, I'm okay, with the first one, you know, so it's the majority of the time there, but our ratepayers still have a chance to book it if they want.
So, I mean, I'm in agreement with the second, but. If the two of you are in agreement with A, then that's the one that we'll end up going with.
And just for the record, if that's where we're headed for this, just for the disclosure, we're not suggesting, the shuttling does cause me very concerned.
Yeah, I don't want any shuttling. Which could remain at the Echo Center, as long as everybody knows that's where it is, and if they want, they're gonna have to go there to get it. And if something crazy were to happen, you know, we can always review it next year.
It's like this, but I don't think, is that written actually in the agreement?
It's not, so there's gonna be a lot, I'm gonna come back to council with more information on this, so we're gonna continue to tighten things up, but what. I think what this will do is with the mutual, Echo, so I can get back to insurance with what we're doing. And get back to the Echo Center can probably start using it, and then we'll get the app. Or we said we just had training last week, it's just becoming live, they need to submit the app to Apple to approve it. You know, and all these, so there's a whole bunch of things, so certainly we'll come back and we'll say, yes, it's on the road now with Echo, yes, we've got the insurance policy. Echo's schedule looks like so and so, and you know, we'll just continue to advance this.
Yeah, and as far as potential shuttling goes, to me, that's just an ad hoc thing that would come up. There can be resolved between parties down the road if it ever needed to happen.
Yeah, and that's an important thing, so if that's not the expectation, then I think we have a conflict, so.
And even at least the charger in Golden Lake, always free for people to charge with, what it's hooked up.
And potentially we have, yeah, yes.
So there's potential revenue stream there that's not interrupted by the other so.
So we have the resolution moved and seconded. Can I just suggest maybe then that Laura, we just do a resolution that says we are in agreement with the first bold line?
Well, I'd be happy to make a friendly amendment to our resolution if Council Reddish felt it's okay.
I think it's more than a friendly. I would like to see it as an actual approved resolution.
Well, the resolution is what, that we accept the report?
That we accept the report as information pertaining to bylaw 2026-25.
And further that the bylaw proceed with option A in the report.
That could work.
So it doesn't say option A now,
Or the first option.
the first bullet, the first.
B, you can say being a mutually agreed upon.
Yeah, you could actually put that line in.
That will bring in. But you just cut and paste and you have to.
Over in second, you're okay with that?
I'm fine with that, yes.
Okay. And it has been carried, yes.
Is that done for that one?
That's done for that one, yes. Item 5.2 is the request from Eagle District Senior Meeting Association, and I have a motion the council approves the use of the snowdrifter facility for seniors floor shuffleboard. Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Matthew Snowdale. Questions and comments, Councillor Buckwell?
I'm assuming that they want to do this in the upper, the main floor.
I agree.
Is it long enough for shuffleboard?
I think it
It's
is.
pretty long.
Okay.
And it's a mat, right? They're not
Yeah.
finding lines on.
Yeah, and I'm bringing this just, I didn't know if they need to, again, with this agency kind of being a partner, a direct partner of ours, do they need to follow the grants and be relieved, or can we just bring this into our facility? It's kind of an informational item, but.
It really makes sense to go ourselves.
So would they leave the stuff, I'm assuming then they'd have a code to get in, they'd play and then they'd leave and clean up after themselves, so there would be no kind of custodian cleaning up on our part, right? Like,
I don't see them being too messy with this. I don't think there's any food or drink involved. I don't.
no, but I'm just saying, like that's the important thing. I don't mind them using it, and I think it's nice that we have the facility, and it's a great place to put it, as long as they leave the place the way they found the place. Yeah. I just don't want one of our custodian guys having to go and open up the door, and then after they're done, then clean it, because that to me is so much.
I don't see this as like a real event. That's too.
I just know like when the seniors, when they do the jam session, they leave the place really clean, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's really not a custodian hardship, you know, we don't really need somebody to clean up, right? Cause that's when we rent our facilities, to me, that's one of the costs that come into play, right? Is the cleanup. And if we don't have to clean up, then they're using a facility that was vacant to begin with, right?
I think that's something we could leave in the group's hands. I'm sure they would send one of their staff with the group that's playing
Yeah.
shuffleboard, so you know, they would make sure that place is open and locked up after.
Yeah, cause I know like when we go to the Golden Lake Hall, like for different things, it's all like whether it's the Halloween thing or the ATV run, everything's pushed, you know, aside, and then when we are done with it, we push everything aside. The only thing that would be is there might be some garbage, right? That's about it, but if Public Works or anybody was going through, they could just pick up the garbage and.
Well, that's the thing, it's being done regularly on Friday, I'm assuming you have someone that checks out at least once a week anyway.
Yeah,
So whenever the garbage will be done.
well, especially with the public facilities now, like with the bathroom and Golden. And the bathrooms were being used at the ATV one, like besides people that were at the ATV one, so it's nice to have that then.
I think the washrooms at all of our, like, you can both launch at, the Peterman Park, at, Golden Lake Community Center, I think they are being used, and then people appreciate that, all the time.
And especially that playground, it was amazing, how many people use that playground. And I think some people that are going to get gas or whatever, you know, they come there, let the kids play a little while, and then they keep on going. And so it's nice.
Well, I've actually seen people that have driven through, like, they say, gotten gas or gone to the restaurant, they come in. Like I say, the kids run around, they wander down to the garden and check out the peanut gardens and that too, so it's beautiful.
And that's where it'd be great, like, once the charging station is operational, people who wanna come and sit there for an hour or two while their vehicle charges, they can take advantage of going to, well, they can go across to the service station or to
That's right.
cottage shop or drugstore, or, yeah, they have all, or the park. Any other comments? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.
So Laura, were you able to update the schedule a little? So,
I just, yeah, I have to put it back onto the agenda.
yeah, I will.
I'm just going to actually send it into it first.
All right, and I just noticed, I know that you don't want to skip a number, and I see the confirmatory is 27.
Yes, this 26 was the last meeting's confirmatory.
I see. There we go.
That Laura, she's on top. Those numbers.
Okay, so that remove that, remove that. Okay, just a little bit back.
Well, it's still there alone. Well, maybe I have to hit refresh.
I took the highlight off.
Yeah. Number 4.
Yes, okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll look at it. Yeah, oh, we can do that.
So do we have, okay, yeah, but that's the new updated resolution there then?
No, that's the updated agreement. The
Okay.
resolution you already read.
No, I haven't read it yet,
No, not for the bylaw.
not to the bylaw yet.
Yeah, but the updated one we did on the report.
Okay, but my question is, do we have to change anything on this one
No, because you're passing the bylaw as it is.
The bylaw's been updated as all council wishes.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure I'm on the right path. Okay, so bylaw reads, now therefore the council of North Algona Wilberforce enact the following bylaw 2026-25, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a vehicle lease agreement between the corporation of North Algona Wilberforce Township and Edenville District Senior Needs Association and Whitewater Seniors Association. Moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor DeShoto. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And now we're at our confirming bylaw, that bylaw 2026-27, being a bylaw that confirmed the proceedings of council for June the 29th, 2026. Read the first and second time this 29th day of June, moved by Councillor Buckwald, seconded by Councillor DeShoto. Oh, and read the third time finally passed this 29th day of June, 2026. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And finally, I have a motion that this June 29th, 2026 special meeting of council adjourns at 2:21 p.m. Moved by Councillor Schultz, seconded by Councillor Buckwald, all in favor. That's carried. Thank you. We adjourn.